This week, so many big announcements happened, big changes going on at the parks. It's because of Bob Iger. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about the Festival of the Arts that's taken over EPCOT and so much more tonight on ParksCenter. Welcome to ParksCenter for January 15th, 2022. I'm your host, Rob Whiteside. Thank you guys, as always, so much for being here with us. We're going to crack open a few drinks, apparently. We're going to get the show started tonight, and it's going to be great. We're gonna want you to subscribe to WDWNT TV if you can, and also give this video a like as it helps people to find us. And let's find out who's cracking open a beer at this late night. What's going on, folks? This is great.
It's probably
Let's start with Shannon.
Someone's at the door too.
Nice.
Good evening, everyone.
Such a professional output. This is great. Love it. And then, of course, Allie from Disneyland. How are you?
Coming in hot. I'm great.
Coming in hot. Allie, we imported her tonight all the way from
bucket.
Disneyland. The popcorn in the bucket is still warm, isn't it?
Yeah, it still is.
Yep. And then, and our good friend Matt. Matt, how are you?
Good. It's been a while. Sivaco. Happy to be here tonight.
You do get to say that in the Sivaco spot. So
right here,
thank you guys for being here on the panel. Thank you guys for being with us at home. We appreciate you. We are excited to talk to you. Please feel free to talk to us in the chat. Super chat if you feel so inclined. And tonight, the big discussion we have is big changes. There are a lot of changes that happened rapid fire that we covered on WDWNT this week. One of them was that, free parking. And you look at that and you go, wow, wait a minute, free parking, that is great. You're too good to us, guys. This is something that we used to have, and then it went away, and now you're like, we'll cut you some slack. I still feel like this is one of those things that, from an optic standpoint, they should have just thrown a couple more bucks on the charge for the night and not made it a big thing about actually paying for parking. The funny thing is to me, and I'm going to throw this one to Allie, is the first time I ever had to pay for parking at a Disney hotel, it was at the Grand Californian, because I didn't realize that in California you had to do it. And back in the day, I was like, well, thank goodness that we don't have to do this in Florida. And now apparently we have to do this in Florida. But you guys were used to doing this already, right?
Yeah, we're used to doing this. And then I actually just had to email Disney this week because they charged me for parking at Disney World last week, and I didn't have a car. So needless to say, I emailed them, and I will be getting my $105 back. But yeah, I don't really know why they're charging for parking. I don't know how they know. Half the time I get charged, half the time I don't. I'm like, I use Ubers in and out or Pete, and I use my Magic Band, and they charge me for parking. But anyway, they didn't charge me for the last night when they got rid of the parking. And I mean, I think it's good they're not charging for parking. They should never have charged for parking.
Yeah, I agree, because they have, as Walt said, the blessing of size, right? I mean, I get it. It's you're shoved in Anaheim and you have very little space, so I understand trying to regulate that by charging for parking. But when you've got a gajillion acres of land in Florida and you don't need to charge for parking,
don't need to charge for parking
to make sense. Matt, who do you think was counting the beans on this one? And you can't say Bob Chapek. Who do you think decided that it was okay to bring this back? Do you think it was Bob Iger, or do you think it was Josh?
I think it was something that Josh wanted to do. So my perspective on this is, I think we're really seeing, as a friend of mine coined this week, the de-Chapecification of Disney World right now.
Easy for
We're
you
kind
to
of
say.
all of the, very easy to say. All of the kind of ways he kind of ruined our lives in a way, as Tom keeps saying, he can't hurt us anymore. We're seeing all of those little touches removed. As I think we'll see more and more as the weeks go on. And something I mentioned, I think a few months ago, prior to Chapek's firing, was that we haven't really been treated as guests for a while. We've been treated as customers. And I think it's just one of these little touches, and we'll talk about more as we go on the show, is that we're seeing these more really high levels of customer service. And I think free parking isn't really this profound customer service like touch, but it's a great quality of life change that we're seeing now in the parks that I think Iger is allowing and Josh is putting forward for us. So
Gotcha. You know, I can't I just can't stop seeing. I'm watching off camera. Allie's just going at it with the popcorn. I love that. That's so fantastic. Shannon, thoughts?
Yeah, I get nervous when people like you and other people have said, we could have just added a little more to the rate instead of having the separate parking fee. But hello, these deluxe resorts are already $700, $800 per night. We don't have room to be adding an extra $25 a night on there. We are overpaying for what those resorts are as it is. So happy to see it happen. It does encourage me to potentially rent a car. I don't typically, but I want to explore more now that I'm older. So happy for it.
Well, I feel like you're calling me out for that one. What I am saying though, you can bring it. What I am saying about that though is that from an optic standpoint, if they were going to gouge us for the money anyway, why not try to be a little bit more slick about it? Because again, it kind of comes down to customer service, and historically Disney has been the company that loves their guests and treats us like guests, and then to say, hey, we're going to charge you for parking when we really don't have to. We just want some extra money from you. I mean, it's not like they had to pay to reline the parking lots, or that they had to pay for new security booths or anything like that. They just added it because they needed the money. So, take it up a buck or two across the board, we wouldn't notice it. But I mean, say, hey, we're going to start charging you for parking. I mean, I actually had an incident where I pulled into PopCenter. I'm not staying at the deluxe resorts like you do. I'm not bougie, but I pulled into Pop. You're welcome. I pulled into Pop and I was like, just checking in, and the security guard was after hours, and the security guard, I guess his job was to make sure that he got my parking money. So he made sure to stop me, get my room number, get my license plate, and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, wow, okay, can I just give you $20 and we just look the other way on this? I don't know. So that's the parking thing amongst other announcements. But first, speaking of announcements, nope, that's the wrong one. We have a super chat from Jungle Cruiser, and we appreciate you, Jungle Cruiser. The super chat is as follows. Let's get to the most important thing. How can I get a Figment popcorn bucket live on the West Coast? Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to swing that. We're definitely going to talk about Figment popcorn buckets, though, because that's a thing. But Jungle Cruiser, we appreciate you as always. Thank you so much for the super chat. Another big announcement that they talked about was park hopping. Now, a lot of these announcements, when you're looking at it on the surface, sound great. Oh, yeah, this is awesome. We get park hopping is back, but at Disneyland, and only 2 hours earlier. So, I mean, Allie, you're kind of clapping your hands about this one. Clearly, you're happy about this, but why do you think that they still have to put this, impose this number of 11 a.m. and not just say, you know what, park hopping is back?
I have no idea. I mean, I'll take 11 a.m. That's way easier for me than 1 p.m. because usually I'm done at the first park by 10 or 11 o'clock, so that helps that I can go to the other park before 1 o'clock. But I don't know. Let's just get rid of this. It's ridiculous. It's really bad in Florida too. 2 o'clock? That's terrible. It's bad.
But again, that's one of those things where they have the power to do it. There was probably a method to the madness that they wouldn't explain to us why, but I guess the idea is that there has to be a park reservation in place first, right? And then they'll let you park hop. Yeah. So if they don't do that, then they can't get your park reservation and keep tabs on you and what you're doing. But again, when you look at this, Shannon, when you look at it on the top side and they go, "Hey, park hopping, we fixed it," and then it's like, "Oh, but here are the caveats. It's only in Disneyland, and we only took it back 2 hours." Did you look at this and go, "Yay," and then go, "Wait, what?"
I was excited because it in a way it acknowledges a problem, and that problem is having to wait all day to park hop. Now, am I upset that it's not in Disney World? Absolutely. I clicked on that article and I'm like, great for Disneyland. It makes sense. But for us, the 2 p.m. absolutely kills me. When I took my solo trip in December and I'm trying to get in as much as possible in my short 3-day trip, that 2 o'clock time absolutely killed me. So glimmer of hope. I think that they're going to make changes in the future, but not soon enough for me personally.
Well, and on the other coast, on our coast, they said, oh, you know what? AP doesn't have to have park reservations anymore. But Matt, that's, again, you got to look at the fine print. Yeah. It's you don't have to have a park reservation if you're swinging in after 2 o'clock, which is when the park hopping happens. So doesn't this one also feel like kind of like it's better, but still?
Yeah, I think it's just really addressing things that people. I think it's just removes a step from most AP's day of having to scan in at EPCOT or wherever they can get a park reservation to hop over to wherever they want to go. Again, I think it's just a glimmer of hope to what might be coming here in the next 6 months to a year, that like things are getting better, but it's still kind of annoying that there's still these park pass reservations and there's still pretty high restrictions on park hopping. And I think, again, if you want to have a park reservation system that's, I don't love it, but it's fine if you want to keep your labor in check and kind of account for where everyone's going to be. But I think I'll let people hop when they want to, because as Shannon was saying, there's some things you want to do. Let's say you want to ride Flight of Passage at Animal Kingdom. That's all you want to do that day because you might not be in love with Animal Kingdom. I don't know why someone would feel that way, but there's some people out there that want to do that. They want to hop over to Magic Kingdom later that day and do something in the evening. I just think I think it's a positive that we're getting some change and removal of some of these kind of COVID level implementations, but I think it's still kind of annoying, but I think it's a step in the right direction for sure.
Yeah, I don't have popcorn. Yeah, it's a step in the right direction, absolutely. But again, the thing that bothers me about it is it's a little bit, but it's not the real thing. And I feel like everyone was excited when they saw these announcements, just boom, 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 boom. The resort parking one makes sense and is free and clear. They just said, we're going to stop doing that. Now, whether they're going to go back on the back, like we talked about, and add to your, to your stay,
yeah,
we don't know. But but again, that one was free and clear. The one about we're going to stop we're going to change park hopping, but only on the West Coast and only for 2 hours. And we're going to change the reservation system, but only for AP and only after 2. It just kind of waters it down. I saw somebody in chat, Marshall said in all caps, please get rid of reservations. And we've been saying that for so long that it's just one of those things. Universal doesn't do it. Somehow they can still make money, right?
Yeah.
And yet Disney, took this as an opportunity to do it. And, now we're in a little bit of a pickle. Because they threw us just a little bit of just a little treat to say, hey, we're gonna work on this a little bit. I just still think it was just not enough. I feel like it should have been more. Yeah. It's a great olive branch, but it's not enough. Before we move on to the next one, we have another super chat, and the super chat is from CK Barry and goes like thus. Sorry about that. Can't talk about Figment popcorn buckets. I'm still salty that I missed Mr. Toad buckets by 5 minutes, sold out 2 people before me, and I'm on the West Coast. I feel like I remember you saying this, and like I am heartbroken for you. Shannon, are you flexing a little bit? That's almost mean, isn't it, to do it like that?
Sorry.
Do you want to point that out again? Yeah. No. Okay. No. I'm with you though. And first, love that you guys are excited about popcorn buckets. Yes, please, because y'all my people with the popcorn buckets. And as a matter of fact, nobody knows that better than Allie, because she's got a truckload of my popcorn buckets that she's gotten for me at her house. So I'm sure she's just going to be very grateful for when that's going to be, when I come there and can get rid of that. Then we also have Kevin says, thanks for all the coverage and constant efforts. Quick question. Do you think the activity from Universal will spur change on the Disney side? More and more, it seems like Universal swings for the fences. I agree, and we're not really going to talk about the stuff that happened with Universal this week. I mean, if you guys don't know, they announced a bunch of stuff, including that there's going to be a new kind of a regional park that they're adding to Texas, and they're going to add a year-round Halloween Horror Nights exhibit in Vegas, which are both kind of they're very exciting things that are happening, right? And then also they did a sneak preview or a technical rehearsal of Super Nintendo World this week. So Annie, who is our Universal reporter, went out to California. She has been spending her time sending back lots of content from Super Nintendo World, and we'll be on next week talking a ton of Universal. You make a great point. Like, it is one of those things where Universal seems to be doing a lot. I mean, Disney does a lot. We got to be fair here. Disney does a lot. When they come out swinging at D23 with all the stuff they're talking about at D23, that's big. And Universal doesn't usually do anything that big. But I got to keep coming back to Universal when we're talking about things like park passes, when we're talking about things like the park hopping. They don't limit those things. They haven't since day one. And when I say day one, I mean day one of opening up, a month earlier than Disney. So they were able to open up earlier and never hit an issue with any of this stuff. So I really kind of look to them and go, it can be done, right? Let's talk real quick about shows coming, because that was another announcement that they made. They were making these policy changes, but they were also talking about the return. I almost want to say the return of the king. Happily Ever After is returning on April 3rd. There she is. It's going to be very exciting to have Happily Ever After back. Matt gave it one of these. I don't know if you got to see that one. Matt, this is going to change your life in great ways. How?
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. I think I kind of started off in the show around the time that Happily was leaving, and actually I've been on for a little bit longer than that, but I absolutely adore that show. It's been a key part of my kind of Disney adult fandom personality in a way. It's so important to me in kind of, I wouldn't go as far as how I live my life, but really inspired me in some times that in my life that were tough, and really helped me appreciate where I'm at in my life with my 3 kids and my wife and everything like that. Being really happy with where I am, and I think it's a message that's so important for a lot of other people as well. And so I know that the show isn't coming back in its full entirety. We're for sure getting mainly just the theme song and the song with Jordan Fisher, and I'm so happy to just have that theme back, because every time I hear that, especially in the parks, even at the resorts, I shed a tear, because I'm just so happy it's coming back. And something I said when it was leaving was, if it's going to leave the parks, then I want something better to be put in its place. And Disney didn't provide anything that was better, hence why they're backtracking, and we're going to get that show back. And also, I'm kind of reading the caption there, the end of the taco barges. Disney realizes that they spent a little bit less money on creative for both those nighttime shows, and realized that they need to fix the problem. One, ending a show too early and Happily Ever After, and 2, destroying the look of a park. So I'm happy that Disney is bringing back one great show and removing an EPCOT problem. So
the EPCOT problem. That's what we're going to call it. The EPCOT problem. You know what? I honestly, there are a lot of things that I do like about the barges, the video screens when I came for the EPCOT 40th that had that on there. But I think in general, you're right. I mean, it's a lot of just very technical, equipment just like lurking all day long, and the whole thing that they did, and we've made fun of it so often, the whole fun they had the concept art of the fountains and how it was going to be a beautiful fountain around all this mess, and it just never worked. It was kind of crazy. I didn't think they were going to get rid of the barges. We confirmed, I guess, this week that they are going to actually get rid of the barges, but I think we've talked in the past, like, wouldn't it be great if somehow they could get rid of them without ruining them and take 1 or 2 of them over and make an actual legitimate nighttime show at Animal Kingdom? That would be kind of cool. Allie, thoughts on all this? You were just there.
I was just there. Yeah, I was there. I actually was doing all the Run Disney races, so for marathon weekend, and they had the marathon thing up on the barges in the morning, and I was like, hey, that's actually a good use for these. But when you are there at the park in the middle of the day, they are still terrible, and I cannot wait for them to go away. I have never seen Happily Ever After in person. I've only watched the video, so everybody else is super excited, so I'm excited for all of you guys who are excited.
You didn't see it because it was off camera, but Shannon made a face.
It's up there with, I know that you're on the West Coast, so it's harder, but Happily was, a monumental piece of entertainment, up there with Illuminations and Spectro Magic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you're excited about the return of Happily, I'm assuming, then?
so excited. I'll probably not be there on the first day that it re-debuts, but I'll be home shedding a tear.
Okay. All right. So one other thing. Again, we're kind of running through. If you're joining us late, welcome. Give us a like. But the we're running through all the big announcements that they made last week about policy changes, etc. I thought this one was kind of interesting, and again, one of those that feels like sort of a slap in the face. Again, about this is that they have the Magic Key Resort, Disneyland Resort Magic Key Pass sales to resume from time to time.
Yeah.
Allie, you and I both have them. I didn't let mine go, which is insane that I
No.
have one, but I didn't let mine go because I was like, I don't know if I'll ever get one again. They went on sale again this
Correct.
year, 2022 briefly, and people scrambled to get them, and they were like up for 24 hours from time to time. So the surprise and delight is you might get the opportunity to drop $1,600.
Correct. Yeah. So at this point, if you have one, I would say probably hold on to it if you're using it. I don't really know what time to time is. I was talking with some people today who didn't get a magic key, and they were kind of asking me like, "Oh, hey, can we get a magic key?" And it's like, no, you cannot. You kind of just have to keep an eye on it and hope for some good luck. So I mean, they really just have a stranglehold on us at this point, and we're just thankful to be there. So I
Yes.
have no idea what the logic
No, exactly.
is, but
Shannon, you have an annual pass, right, for Disney
I
World, right?
do.
And Matt, do you have an annual pass as well?
I don't, not yet.
Okay, so then let me go to Matt first then on this. You see something like this come up again. It's the same thing. This is only for the West Coast. We're
Yeah.
locked out on the East Coast as well.
Yeah.
If they were made available, would you want to get them? And at the same time, like, isn't it kind of weird that they would welcome the product back from time to
Yeah.
time on the West Coast and say nothing of the East Coast?
Yeah, I have not been able to justify the annual pass yet. My kind of vacation schedule, or at least my Disney parks schedule, typically is I'll go one every other year. I'll go for a full week, if not a little bit more, and then the off year I'll go for a weekend trip, just to kind of get the taste and the excitement back and the fun of going to Disney World. But I've not been able to justify that with the amount of time that I go. But I know that once kind of right now I started a business last year, so once kind of that gets leveled out and I have some more vacation time beyond just a couple weeks each year, I definitely want to invest in that. But I'm worried that if I don't get one soon, if it comes back soon, I might not ever have the chance to get one because
yeah.
just based off of viewing the trends over the past couple years, I think again, we'll see how new management handles it, or bringing back old management handles it. But
New old
it
management.
seems like new old management. They seem like they've been wanting to phase the annual pass holder out, and I think from looking at it from a business perspective, I understand why they want to do it because, especially people in Disneyland, are growing a lot more than most Disney Worlders, and the ROI on that probably is a lot lower. So I get from a numbers perspective, but also from a customer service viewpoint, it's just a bad show to not be able to have annual pass holders because they kind of are the lifeblood. They're there filling up the park.
Yeah.
Either good or bad. So
Unfavorable mix. That's what I say. Now, and again, it's one of those where they just made these little things and went, okay, what can we do to throw this out and get the news out there that we're the good guys again, but not let go too much at this point, right? It's just a little bit weird. And then they come up today or yesterday with housekeeping is returning to deluxe resorts on a daily basis. As someone that only goes deluxe, how are you feeling about this, Shannon?
I am very excited. But I will say, as a solo traveler, I didn't feel that I needed it. But when I go sometimes and with my husband or with my parents, once you have 2, 3 adults sharing a room, we needed refreshed towels, tissues, toilet paper, the works. So I am very excited for this change and applaud them for it. Although they really should do it for all the resorts. But
Yeah, I remember, and this was something they kind of backed away from even before COVID, is that I remember being at, again, sorry, Pop Century, and going to the front desk and them saying, "Oh, by the way, if you would like to forego your daily house cleaning, we will give you a gift card." And I remember, like, like kind of like texting my wife going, "Gift card or clean towels?" And she was like, "Gift card." Because I think she'd rather not have people come in the room all the time, and I don't know whether that's like a paranoid they're going to steal my stuff, which I was like, it's Disney, they don't do that. And then we ran how many stories about them doing that? That's fine. Yeah. But when we go back to like when COVID was, we were going to the resorts when they opened up and COVID was in full swing. A lot of people, I think, wanted there to be like. Some people wanted them not, don't come in my room because you're going to contaminate it. And some people were like, you should come in my room and clean a lot because we want to make sure that, we get rid of all the germs, etc. So it's just really weird about the, it's taken so long. And it's staffing, right? That's the problem is it costs money to staff people to come in every day and clean your room. But if you're paying for a deluxe experience, you definitely want to have that happen. And Allie, I'm going to be honest, I don't know what the current policy is in the California hotels. I know you don't stay in one, but do you know? Okay.
I don't know. No, I stayed way more at Disney World.
I was going to say that
with you.
Nothing wrong with Pop Century.
Pop Century.
Pop Century for life. I would say
Skyliner.
though, yeah, exactly. The Skyliner, absolutely, the Skyliner. When it comes to though the cleaning situation, I feel like there's a lot to the Disney experience that we've lost over the years, out of convenience. But now we've lost it. And one of them is the fact that we used to go to the front desk and you'd have that big, huge, like, bring the kids in and look around the lobby and it's awesome. And you get in the checkout line and they welcome you. And if you're a Polynesian, they say aloha and they give you your room keys and tell you where you're going to be. And it's like, this is all part of the experience. We're here in the lobby. And now it's like, let me log in on my phone and tell me what room I'm going to. And part of me goes, yes, convenience wise, I don't want a deal. I just don't want a deal. And so that's cool. But you're missing that experience. Same thing with like coming in and the towels being refreshed and everything when you come back into your room and it's just the pigsty you left it in because it's your fault, not because it's them. It seems like, oh, okay, well, we're missing a little bit of the magic there. But
and the coffee too. Sorry, my mom would actually buy a package of K-Cups to bring with her because she knew she wasn't getting them refreshed, which I thought was ridiculous. But when I called to ask for more K-Cups for myself personally, I left the room, I came back, and they left it in like a trash bag, right, plopped on the counter, like a few K-Cups and some sugar packets. And I was so upset by that because it was bad mousekeeping. But I hope they have their act together now.
Did you say mousekeeping?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
No, that's fine. I love it. What, Matt?
Well, and Rob, I think you're a DVC member as well. I think it's something that we've been kind of used to for years now is not always having housekeeping come every day. So obviously, if I'm not staying DVC, I like to have that because it's just nice, like you said.
Because you don't get it when you're DVC. Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice to have
I
your
get
pigsty
that.
cleaned up for you for sure.
I mean, come on. You've got kids. You come back in, the towels.
Yeah.
It's like, whose towel was this? Was this my towel? I don't want to use it again if it's not my towel.
Yeah.
Did you use my towel? You want to get fresh towels. You can get them. You can call to the front desk, but then you're like, when are they coming? And it's usually late at night. And
fortunately, you have a washer dryer typically in most DVC suites anyway, so DVC rooms. So typically we throw them in at least the dryer before we leave every day.
Please keep in mind that we know that even though this is like we're talking about Pop Century or whether it's Polynesian or DVC, that we know these are champagne problems. I totally get that that's a thing. But if you're paying for that experience and it was that Disney difference that you used to get, it seems like we should get that back. So anyway, I'm glad to see that back. But all of these announcements were made, and I think a lot of us thought, oh, Bob's back. Bob's back. He is. He's taking names and he's making changes. There was an interview that Josh did with the New York Times where he said this is all based on changes. The changes are a result of listening to guests. And you remember when they used to do that? They used to listen to the guests. That's awesome. And from an optics standpoint, that does make sense. But I feel like it's more than that. It's got to be Bob. He says it's not. That it's just that he's in the parks, and he is, and he's listening to the guests, and I believe he does. But Shannon, do you think that he could have made this and listened to the guests and made these changes if it was still Chapek in office?
Oh, good question. Probably not, because I feel like a lot of this stuff was cost-cutting measures, right? Or ways to get more money, and that hasn't. I don't know. It's a tough one. Sorry, Rob, I got nothing for you.
No, that's okay. Yeah, and again, a lot of people are going to say, well, one man doesn't make all the decisions, but we kind of feel like that the leadership makes a difference. And so, I think, Allie, probably in Disneyland, you guys have felt that more than anywhere because the management is local there and they can come out there and make an appearance. And Bob Iger's probably already been in Disneyland more since he came back than Chapek was in his entire regime.
Yeah, I mean, based on some of the Instagram posts I saw, it looked like he was there quite a bit right after everything happened. Which was really cool to see. And then it looked like he was also at EPCOT a few times as well. But yeah, just having them there and just walking around is something that never happened with Chapek. So just knowing that that's something that they're there, they're listening, it's just, it's reassuring. And Good Bob. Good Bob is back.
good Bob, bad Bob.
Better Bob. Better Bob.
So again, I feel like we should have, we just needed to kind of address this all in one discussion because again, it all came out at the same time. It's all part of the same deal. But before we take a quick commercial break and come back with news, I want to get kind of final thoughts on these changes, starting with you, Shannon. What just overall thoughts? Is this it's a step in the right direction?
Yeah, for sure. I am so happy to see all these things. I'm happy to see a lot of it happen kind of at one time, right? It again, getting so much of it now, it makes me excited for what is 2023 going to bring us. It seems really positive to me. Mm-hmm. I think we'll continue to get more, so I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome, Matt.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I think it's all these small things are going to pile up and snowball into a really great year for Disney because based off of the last topic, I really think that Bob Iger is the right man for the job. And I think Josh for years has been frustrated by Chapek and probably wanted to implement these things or reverse some of the decisions that Bob made when he was over Parks and Resorts. So I think this is a positive thing. I think we're in good hands with Josh having a more positive leader ahead of him that will allow him to make these changes. So yeah, I think we're in for a great year.
All the small things. Now I can't think of anything but Blink 182.
I'm torn. I mean, on the one hand, I'm happy with all of the changes, but then when you think about it, this is all stuff that we had before. So it's a little bit frustrating because it's like we didn't used to have to worry about park reservations or park hopping hours. And then you had mentioned, I forgot about, you used to get a gift card for declining room service at Disney World. So that used to be a really nice, pretty big sizable gift card that we would get when we would check in. So on the one hand, super happy that these things are happening, but then it's still a little frustrating because it's like we had all of this. So seems like we're going in the right direction, but you still need to think about the fact that this is stuff that we already had. So,
that is a terribly good point. And let's take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back to run through some of the latest park news, and then we'll finish out with a Festival of the Arts update and kind of a breakdown of everything that's been happening. So don't go away. We will be right back with more ParksCenter.
Welcome to Deep in the Plus. Each week, join host Rob Whiteside as he and a panel of Disney superfans take a different movie or TV show from the Disney Plus catalog. They'll tell you its history, details, and give their review, so you'll know if it's worth your time. Current shows, classic movies, and everything in between. Watch Deep in the Plus live Wednesday nights at 9 Eastern for new episodes, or catch Deep in the Plus anytime on YouTube on WDWNT TV.
This program is brought to you by WIGS, the WDWNT Inner Globe Society. Support WDWNT to get early and exclusive access to content you can't find anywhere else, including exclusive post shows for WDW News Tonight and ParksCenter, access to our prize wall, a monthly Zoom with Tom, access to our Discord community, early access to our events, and much more, starting at just $2 per month. For more information, visit patreon.com/WDWNT or visit WDWNT.com and click the Patreon link. Join WIGS and unlock even more WDWNT.
And welcome back to ParksCenter. Thank you guys so much for being with us on this Sunday night. If you have not already, please give us a like, as it helps people to find us. Just a reminder, you saw that Deep in the Plus is on Wednesday nights. This coming Wednesday, we're going to have Herbie Goes Bananas. And gosh, we are so excited. The little boy from Herbie Goes Bananas, Paco, will be on our show. I'm serious. I cannot wait. Now, I say little boy. He's 50 now. But, I mean, Joaquin Garay III will be on. And fun fact, his grandfather was the voice of Panchito in the original Three Caballeros. How about that? How about that? I know.
That's
it's
awesome.
great. So he's going to be on talking with us. Me and Patrick and Paco are going to be talking about Herbie Goes Bananas. So please join us. We would love to have you with us. So while we were taking a little break, a little thing happened. We got another super chat from Jungle Cruiser who says, are we going to talk about the French market being changed to Tiana's Palace at Disneyland? Yes, we are. So hold your tickets. We will be talking about that very shortly. But thank you again, Jungle Cruiser, for the super chat. We appreciate you. Let's talk about Tron first, though. They made that announcement along with all the others this week, and they did something very cryptic. I don't know if anybody was watching the actual Instagram account, but they did a high scoreboard that you had to kind of uncode or decode what they were saying about when the opening date was. That was kind of cute. Then they came back with this light cycle thing, which made the 2 4s, and that was kind of neat. So April 4th, Tron. Oh my gosh. Shannon, we've been talking about Tron since I don't even remember. Maybe since the first movie came out in 1982 about this attraction coming. Are you excited about it? Are you going to ride it? Have you been counting the days?
It's been 84 years. No, I don't know how people are still excited at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I will go on it. Yes, I'm sure it'll be fun and great. But I don't think it's going to live up to Cosmic Rewind at this point. Glad we got the train back as a result of Tron finally opening, but I saw that Elon Musk tweeted about Tron saying that looks really cool, and I'm like, if only he knew that he could build rockets faster than they built this 90-second roller coaster or whatever it is.
Plus, I'm pretty sure that if Elon wanted to hop in his personal jet and head on over to Shanghai, he could ride it right now. I mean, that's not an opportunity I have, so I'm really looking forward to it coming to, coming stateside, as the kids say. But anyway, pretty excited. This one's interesting. This is interesting. We have a super chat from WDW Mickey. And thank you for the $10 super chat. We appreciate you. This one says, question, where do you think Disney World would be if Iger had not bought Fox? That purchase caused a lot of debt, so I would be interested to know everyone's thoughts. P.S. I don't like Iger. That is a hot take. But everyone gets
Ooh.
their own opinion, so I appreciate you. Thank you, WDW Mickey, for the super chat. But let's do a little timeout here and say, for me personally, as somebody who really delves into the Disney Plus archives and things, I don't think they're using that IP the way they should. There's a lot of stuff that they still couldn't do. I still say a Halloween Horror Night style thing at Hollywood Studios with all of their scary IP, do a Christmas version of that with all of their Christmas IP. It would be great to do that. I think there's a lot more opportunity in there. I don't know if they steal from one bucket to the other. I mean, if they're running the business the way they should, that should all show up in the streaming line and not in the parks line. But I think you do have to juggle a little bit. There were times where ESPN was a big drag on the company and was making it so I think that they couldn't, they weren't getting everyone was cutting cords. ESPN was costing them some money. So I think that's a great point. I don't know that they would have invested more in the parks just because of not making that deal. I do think they got too deep into that deal. They ended up paying way too much, more than they should. But conversely, the Lucas deal and the Marvel deal have netted them so much money compared to the little bit of money that they paid for it. So I hope that it all shakes out in the end. But let's get your opinion, Allie.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I don't think they're using Fox to the best of their ability. I mean, if you think about it, I don't even think about Disney owning Fox. I mean, I know that they do, but that's not something that comes to mind. It's like, oh, Lucasfilm, Disney, Marvel, Disney, Fox.
Right.
I don't think Disney still. Yeah.
Yeah, Matt.
Yeah, I would argue. I would say Marvel they've done really great with. And Rob, as a Star Wars fan, I wonder if you feel the same way. I think both Star Wars and Fox have been major snafus, especially Star Wars as of late. And I think it's really hurting them in this kind of future investment because they're dumping so much money into these shows as of late, especially with the Star Wars shows being so expensive. I think Andor's was very expensive, and the Nielsen numbers are showing that it had terrible viewership, even to the point where Disney had to entice people to watch the show on Disney Plus by putting it on ABC in freeform. I think the streaming services has been a major hinder on future capital investment because they have to basically, the parks right now are again, I don't think you're right, they shouldn't have to do this, but I think they are doing this on the back end of fixing some of the issues with the streaming services because there's so much debt from, I think the Lucasfilm deal was $3 billion, and then the Fox deal was also similar to that. And again, to get the X-Men maybe for Fox, I'm not really sure I don't really hop on Disney Plus and see all these cool Fox IPs are on there. I don't really see that, and they aren't leveraging them in the parks and even necessarily merchandise to make up that shortfall. So I think across the industry, streaming services have been a real detriment to a lot of companies because they're realizing they're dumping millions and millions of dollars into these shows and they aren't really having the return on investment. So places like Comcast can make that up with their cable business, the internet business, but places like Disney have to make it up in other aspects of their business, being the parks and merchandising. So I think it's been a real detriment to Disney as of late because you're seeing the competition that's been kind of the little brother doing some really cool things and having something beyond blue sky, actually having actual concrete plans. So
yeah, and just to make it clear, Lucas and Marvel were both $4 billion deals, and I can't imagine that at the box office alone that they haven't done that, much less how many Grogu dolls that they've sold and what that means to them. But then, the Fox deal was $71 billion. And so that's where, originally I think that when they offered it, it was like at
crazy.
40 and they got into a bidding war and it took it up to the 71 billion. So, I think that every quarterly report that they've done, they've anticipated that that deal and Disney Plus, that it wouldn't be able to make it up until 2024. So that's what we've been seeing, is that 2024 would be the day that they go, okay, we are in the black. We'll see how that happens. But I agree. I think that Allie and I are on the same page about they just don't use it enough like they should. Although I still do think it was funny that I think it was Christina Aguilera was accepting her Disney Legends Award at D23 and said her favorite Disney movie of all time was Sound of Music. And I think she honestly thought it was a Disney movie from when she was born and not that it had just rolled over into the catalog when they bought it. When we do Disney, Deep in the Plus, we do some of the Fox stuff, but it's usually Disney or Marvel or Star Wars. But, we're going to do Greatest Showman for the 150th review that we have coming up in February. And that one is a Fox one. There's a lot of great Fox properties. There really are. And they just aren't taking advantage of it. Like, how many average folks know that Home Alone is now owned by Disney? That's a huge property when it comes to Christmas. They should, they own Miracle on 34th Street. Like, they should be doing something with this stuff, especially at holiday events. And Shannon, we'll let you give your 2 cents before we move on.
No, I'm good. I'm ready to roll on to the Roundup
Right.
barbecue.
Yeah, roll on to the Roundup barbecue. Okay, so we talked a little bit about Tron, but in essence, there's going to be previews, and I cannot wait to see when the previews are. But apparently, like, park reservations are booked for AP for the April 3rd, April 4th, and so it'll be interesting to see how all that rolls out. So yeah, let's move on to the Roundup barbecue, because that's really why we're all here tonight, I think, is to talk about Woody's Roundup barbecue. You ran past it while you were in Florida, didn't you? I mean, how's it looking out there, Allie?
We did not run past that. I don't know. I walked over there. I did Slinky Dog at night one night, and then I leave that area because there's just nothing to do there. I could not be less excited for this barbecue thing. But, they need more seating and food and everything over there, so it's all good. Hopefully they do a good job, but I could not be less excited.
How dare you? I mean, this is... Wow, I don't even know what to say. So they've got this glorious new entranceway, and you know what? Our article said something about like crude drawings, but I mean this is what we knew was happening. Like we knew this is what it's supposed to look like. Andy made this in his backyard, because why wouldn't you want to eat out of a cardboard box that a little boy had put a restaurant into, right, Matt?
So for me, I would say I'm more excited about Rodeo Barbecue than Tron personally, because I haven't been hearing about Tron for the past 5 years at least.
Wow.
At least Rodeo Barbecue is a more recent new thing in.
We have a new hot take of the night.
I didn't mention my thoughts about Tron. I think Tron is overblown. I'm tired of it. I'm ready to move on. It's been in Shanghai. It's nothing innovative. Guardians is a much better roller coaster than Tron. It'll eat people in Magic Kingdom, which I'm happy about. I can ride, hopefully, Mine Train more accessibly now than that people are going to be concerned about Tron. But Rodeo Barbecue, I'm excited about it. I'm a bigger fan than most of Toy Story Land. I'll put that out there. Maybe another hot take in this community. But I'm glad that these lands are getting sit-down locations, because I think that's something that's missing from Galaxy's Edge as well. That we're finally getting these lands fully fleshed out and being finally completed, hopefully. Doesn't excuse the lack of shade, but at least there'll be a nice air-conditioned place in Toy Story Land beyond Toy Story Mania, so Midway Mania. So I'm excited. I've always been a big fan of the food in Toy Story Land. Again, maybe a hot take. So another place where I can enjoy and live my Toy Story fandom. One of my favorite movies in the catalog. So I'm happy.
This is the most entertaining thing I've heard all night. Starting with the fact that I think you can call it a people eater, but you can't say the land eats people. I don't think you can say that. I don't think I don't think you're allowed to say that. Somebody in the chat said, something along the line of, did he say runaway barbecue? Mickey's runaway barbecue.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? It's all kind of silly. Yeah, it's all kind of silly because I've been looking forward to this, and I've been looking forward to Tron, but both of them have taken way longer than they should, and probably by design. Like they probably have decided, if we finish this box that we put together, and I think we're joking a lot about the fact that we've made a concrete box and made it look like cardboard. Okay, But if we finish this box, then now what we have to do is we have to staff it, and we have to pay for staffing and food and all that other stuff. But there's such a high markup in food. And to your point, there should be more sit-down restaurants in the parks. I would think that as hard as it is to get an ADR for just about anything, that they would want to hurry this up. So I'm surprised that they have been kind of dragging their feet on this one. But Shannon, I don't know. Is this in your purview? Is this one of these things that you would go and eat in? Because it looks like they've pretended like there's gum stuck to the top of it, and I just don't associate that with a place you'd go.
No, I probably won't eat here. But I keep thinking that it has taken so long that I almost expect it to have an entertainment factor, something that we've seen on the Wish, right? Like the Frozen restaurant and Marvel. I keep thinking that there's a reason this restaurant is taking so long. And perhaps we're going to get some kind of experience, but we're not. So, no. I just hope there's coffee-crusted steak on the menu.
What do you think this is? Space 220? No, and honestly, I feel like Space 220 delivered, but it took forever. So we'll see if this one delivers. I do think this is a category, barbecue in general, that they probably need more of. Like you start thinking, okay, they have Italian, or what the guide map calls Italian restaurants all throughout the parks, but at the same time, Italian, Asian, Mediterranean choices. There's not a lot of barbecue. There's Sam's, the Regal Eagle. But I don't know. I feel like this is a category that should be neat to see, and I'm anxious to see if it does well. But the stuff we've seen from the inside, it does not look like it should have taken this long to do. It seems like they should have been able to put it together in like a couple minutes. So anyway, Jungle Cruiser is digging deep tonight. So another $4.99 super chat. We appreciate you. So for this one. Just so people know, the Disneyland People Mover had Tron in the 80s, had the speeder bikes racing the People Mover after Space Mountain. I wish that I had, and again, thank you, Jungle Cruiser, for the super chat. We appreciate you. I wish I had seen the People Mover at Disneyland, or even the rocket rods, because I never saw any of that. Did you get to experience any of that, Allie, before? I mean, I know it's been gone for a while.
No, I haven't. My other half has, and he just continues to go on and on about how amazing it was, and that it's super sad that it's no longer there, and how stupid people were that they stuck their feet out on the rocket thing, and that we can't have nice things anymore. So
isn't that a pretty common thread, is we can't have nice things? I feel like that comes up a lot, but I wish I could have done it. We had rumors that the People Mover from Disneyland Tomorrowland was coming back, and they would announce that at D23. And it would be nice, especially because the track's already all there. Obviously, they'd have to do some renovations to it, but it just seems unsightly that the track is there and nothing happens on it. So if you could talk to somebody out there next time Bob swings through the parks, or Josh, if you just tap him on the shoulder and let him know, you know what, it's time. Let's go ahead and bring that back. Speaking of things they brought back and now are going away, I want a theory on this, because I don't quite get it. Fantasmic, this is my favorite version of Fantasmic, is the one in California.
Yeah, it's way better.
Despite the seating issues, it's a great show, and I love that it happens, the kinetic energy that it gives in the middle of the park, rather than being 4-mile walk to the amphitheater that they have at Hollywood Studios. I love this one. This is the one, you guys talk about happily ever after. This is the one that pulls at my heartstrings when I'm there at Disneyland and get to see this one. And Mickey, at the end, some imagination, and then the smoke bloom, and it's just like, oh my gosh, it's so good. It's not going to be there. Like, I can't imagine, like, after they brought it back, it's going to be gone for a while. And especially because when I'm going for the 100 Years of Wonder launch, it's not going to be there. So, Allie, what did you do?
I haven't been here. My thought is either one, the weather out here has been terrible lately. It's rainy and cold every night. And then also they have a bunch of construction there, so you can't actually walk from New Orleans Square through Adventureland. So somebody's thought was that maybe because you can't exit as quickly, they're just temporarily postponing the shows until they clear all that up. So it is a little bit of a cluster over there at the moment. The Pirates queue just goes everywhere, and it's taking away some of the area that people could sit or stand in. So my thought is maybe just until they clear up all of that construction, then they'll bring it back. But
so nothing that happened probably to the show or
No,
anything.
I think it's just, bad weather. They're getting ready for the Disney 100. There's not a lot of people there. This is a good time. Just do all that construction and then bring everything back, hopefully in 2 weeks.
So basically, you told them, "Hey, look, wait until Rob leaves and then bring it back. That'll be great." Fantastic.
It might come back earlier.
I love the Hungry Bear dining package because it's like a very cheap way to get a dining package and go there.
Yeah,
I don't
that
love
was
the
great.
food,
I would for sure
but I love.
recommend that, but I don't want to
Yeah.
recommend it because I don't want people to know about it. Because when I
Oh,
want
sorry.
it, I want to be able to get it.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Don't
We
do it.
didn't.
It's terrible.
I shouldn't have mentioned it. I
Yeah,
don't even know what
35
happened.
bucks, you get a whole meal and you get like a front row seat. Like it's a steal.
Shannon, have you seen both versions of Fantasmic?
Oh, you're going to shame me for this. So when I flew over to Disneyland for the first time, we had the package at Blue Bayou, and I was too tired and didn't go to the show. I know.
Oh, wow.
So no, I have not seen it. But you always leave something to go back to, Rob.
Yes.
I guess. I mean, sure.
Wow.
But
I
yeah,
know.
that is heartbreaking, especially because you had the package all lined up and that didn't happen.
It's a
Matt, how
long
about you? Have you
flight.
seen both shows?
I have not seen Disneyland's version. I absolutely adore Disney World's version. I was supposed to go to Disneyland in 2020, but obviously, you know how things happen there. So I've not gone to Disneyland yet. I hope to in a couple years, within the next couple years. But I can't wait to see that version of the show.
So back up. What happened in 2020? I'm just kidding.
Oh,
I was
yeah,
looking.
let's leave it there.
Megan said, "I really prefer the Walt Disney World version." And again, from like a comfort standpoint, like that's the stadium seating and actually having a place to sit, because absolutely sitting like a kindergartner crisscross applesauce, waiting for that show to start it takes a toll. But at the same time, like that pirate scene where they use the sailing ship Columbia just to swing by and
So good.
and that's something that
So
you don't
good.
get. And the dragon is 70% better.
Dragon.
Yeah, so
70.
70%. It's very mathematical. You have to look that up. It is definitely exactly 70%
And then you
better,
can
so-
watch the fireworks as soon as you're done with Fantasmic. You just stand up and they have the fireworks, and you get 2 shows for one.
Yeah,
Can't do that in Florida.
unless there's a draft and they cancel the fireworks. So let's not forget that. But they're taking the existing French market and they're going to put some smokestacks on it and apparently make her stand out on the balcony so that everybody knows that that's her place. I'm going to go back to Allie on this one again, as you are our resident Disneyland person. I want to know how you feel about this. Is this an exciting change, or are you sad about it? What's up?
I'm kind of with Tom on this one. Like, I thought they were going to build something special for her, and instead they're just, kind of retheming this buffeteria, which is not amazing. It's a little bit disappointing. I mean, they have all that space. I think Tom mentioned they could get rid of Hungry Bear and they could have rethemed that and it'd be right next to a ride. I don't know. I just feel like there's a couple different options. I thought it might be a nice sit-down restaurant. So hopefully it's not just the buffeteria that they're doing. I don't know. I'm not super excited about it. I thought it was going to be more. So
Yeah, and
kind of curious to see what they do with it, but yeah.
They were going to make I think a Tiana's that was over by at the Reflections hotel that they were going to build, and even in that point they weren't going to make it look like this. So it's like, what are you even doing? It was going to be like loosely Tiana themed. So it makes sense to be. That's the trick, right? It makes sense to be in the French Quarter, but it seems stupid to have it be here's Tiana's and old Western style train and a haunted mansion and then her ride. Like it seems like it should all be there together, but
Right.
yeah, I don't really know. Matt,
Yeah,
thoughts?
that's not what I thought this was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a decent amount of thoughts, and I'll keep it brief. I when everything came out about Splash, one thing about me, Splash is my favorite ride of all time. So I was kind of bummed that we're getting it replaced. But my thing is, I would love more Tiana in the parks. I think it's like every princess should have representation in the parks. And this is not what I was hoping she would have a place for us to go eat at her restaurant. It's kind of the whole crux of her movie is that she wants to fund this restaurant, and then for kind of Disney to go halfway again on bringing Tiana to the parks, I think it's disrespectful to her, because they want to push this inclusivity and bring her in the parks, which I think is, again, key and necessary. But to, again, just kind of have her just pasted on existing attraction and existing restaurant that is not really the highest level of food, or really kind of glorifying and giving her a nice pride of place in that land, I think is just, again, disrespectful way to bring Tiana in the parks.
Yeah. Somebody was saying in chat that they could, do something at Tom Sawyer Island. Yeah. I mean, if you could make that like a special treat to be able to, like, okay, Tom Sawyer's Island is closed to, everything else. It's a restaurant now, and you have to take this raft that's kind of a bayou adventure. If I could use that again, over to the island to have like an actual sit down nice meal. That seems like that would be a better solution and a better use of that space.
Yep.
Maybe, I don't know. That would be kind of fun. Also, we have another one of these. You guys getting sick of that yet? I hope not. So this is interesting, and it's almost like a Where's Waldo situation. WDW Mickey says, I just realized there are two Tianas in the concept art. Yikes, had to point that out. I'm not sure that there are. I think we're looking at Eudora there at the bottom. So let's do Where's Waldo on this and take a look. I feel like that if you look at this, and I'm a little off on this, I think this might be who you're talking about at the bottom corner, but she's dressed the same way as Tiana, so it's the same colors, but I think that's Eudora. That's my thought, unless we're thinking about something else. But anyway, appreciate it. Thank you again for the super chat, though. And I am a Where's Waldo nut, so let's bring a lot more fun into these concept arts so that we can, see little hidden things and messages. And again, the same thing with the Tron announce. That was great. That was a lot of fun. Getting out the dates and things, and I started thinking, can we do something like that? That'd be quite cool. So I'm going to jump to this, kind of fly through this stuff, and Allie, again, lean on you as our resident Disneyland reporter for a lot of this stuff, and say, hey, so Downtown Disney, La Brea Bakery closing makes me sad. Discuss.
It makes me a little sad too. That was super random. Like, nobody knew that was happening. I was in Florida at the time, and then I saw that come through, and it was like, oh, La Brea Bakery is done. But both locations were done, but they're still selling the bread. Yeah, I don't know. It's sad.
And Earl of Sandwich is coming back there.
Earl of Sandwich is coming back. Porto's is coming. If you've never had Porto's is phenomenal. So all of us locals are super excited about that. But yeah, they're redoing the Jazz Kitchen, and then they moved Wonderground to the ESPN building, and then Home Store, there's a sign that says go to WAD. So I don't really know what's happening. There's just a lot of walls there right now.
I guess I'm confused about Earl of Sandwich, because it used to be down where the AMC was before they demolished the AMC.
Correct.
And then they went away for a while, and then they brought it back to La Brea, or they're bringing it back temporarily because La Brea is going to be empty, and that's a prime real estate spot. That's one of those things where you're almost to the park, and you go, you know what? I should have fed these kids this morning. Let me take them in, get them a bagel or something right here. Like, that's a great spot right there for La Brea.
Great location.
And so I would love to see them do something, but that's not going to be the permanent home of Earl of Sandwich. And does that mean Earl of Sandwich is only going to be there for a limited time? Is it a surprise and delight limited time magic?
I don't know why they can't just tell us what's happening. It's just, this is closing, this is temporary, this might be opening, this is eventually opening. We don't know. We're just supposed to be happy and thankful that it's there.
Yes, just be happy and thankful, for goodness sakes. That's all we're asking for.
Right.
And by the way,
wow,
Rosita has entered the arena. Glad to have
go.
free parking. Need to get rid of reservations. Could care less about Tron. Tiana will never like Genie
Thank
Plus.
you.
I'm just letting you know that I'm the super chat queen. We love you, Rosita. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat. You're the best. And yeah, thanks for the summary. It's almost like a mid-show recap, actually. Yep. Yes, no, yes, no, 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 yes. Love it. So speaking of needing a recap, Ali, the day that D23 announced San Francisco overlay to Pacific Wharf, you had thoughts. Have your thoughts
I was so
changed?
excited. No, I love Baymax. Baymax is my favorite Disney character. I cry every time I go to EPCOT that he's no longer there, and I could not be more excited for this. I think it's a good overlay. I don't feel like Baymax gets enough love. I'm excited he's going to be flying over Disneyland for the fireworks in a few weeks, and I'm super happy. But that's just me.
So for those of you who don't know, they made this announcement at D23 Expo that they're taking the Pacific Wharf area and reimagining it to San Francisco. And so my understanding of that is basically they're putting up these two, making this bridge look more like the skyline of the fictitious San Francisco that comes from Big Hero 6. And so they're going to do that, and then there's going to be a Baymax meet and greet there, but I assume that means, I think every speculation we have is that they're going to close down the bakery tour, which is kind of a bummer to me because I always thought that was a really cool offering to have. It's either, I feel like it's got to be either that or Godiva, right? That they've got to close down to do that because there's not a lot of other spaces unless they build something.
Ghirardelli.
Yeah, I totally made up the Godiva thing. I don't know why. I'm just heavily drinking tonight. That must be what it is.
Godiva? Yeah, I don't know what the plan is. I feel like they could keep both of those because they're San Francisco themed, and that would still kind of fit with the land. And then I think it would also be cute if they put a little coffee shop that kind of was themed with the movie as well. But we'll have to see which restaurants survive and which ones don't.
Yeah. Yep. So, I mean, again, I like Baymax. I like the Big Hero 6 IP. I wish they would do something kind of like we were talking about Tiana, something more significant for Big Hero 6. I'd love to see a dark ride for that one, especially. It doesn't have to be a roller coaster, but just like a dark ride, I think would be a nice little touch. I think a lot of movies deserve a dark ride. If Secret Life of Pets can get one at Universal, for gosh sakes, we need one for Zootopia or something else on our in our parks. Yeah, I mean, and again, like Shannon, do you have any thoughts on this? I mean, again, you haven't really. Did you go to the Pacific Wharf area? You probably didn't even know you were in it when you were over there.
No, I did. We got Ghirardelli because we're a big Ghirardelli family. So I think it makes sense. It's been a number of years since I've been in there. So it feels like doing a San Francisco overlay kind of fits what's already there. So it doesn't bother me.
Yeah. Matt?
Yeah, I'm also a big Hero 6 fan. It's my favorite movie, but I do like Baymax and that movie in general. And yeah, I think, as you mentioned, Rob, that Big Hero 6, I think, does deserve a more substantial presence in the parks. And I think it's really amazing that we're going to see Baymax fly over the castle in a few weeks here, which is really exciting to see. So yeah, I think I don't really have a attachment to Pacific Wharf because, again, I've not been there, but I'm happy to see it. And Big Hero 6 also has been on my short list for a potential rock and roller coaster retheme, or maybe even a reason to put an attraction in the Tokyo Pavilion in EPCOT. So more Baymax, please.
Just a lot of Baymax cardboard cutouts and blasting Fallout Boy. Then we're done, right?
I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it.
All right, cool.
I'd go on that.
Yeah. So Care Bear says Honey Lemon's bubble tea shop, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of opportunities. There are a lot of things that they could do in there and make that really fun. I do think a lot of times for me it's just a pass through. Sometimes I stop and get something at the Lucky Fortune, and then sometimes that's pretty much the only place I've ever eaten there. And I've liked to go and get a complimentary piece of bread. I liked it when they had the tortilla tour. I thought that was kind of neat. Just again, free food. That's really the only reason that I care about that one. So let's talk about Elsa, because why not? They're going to go and they're going to bigger, better deal us in Hong Kong, and they're going to do this Elsa thing where they're going to actually make it an animatronic as opposed to a projection on her face. If you've watched the video, you can watch it on our website. I'm not going to play it here, but it does look really good. But I still think that there's something that looks a little bit better about the projection. But it's I think this will be so much better. Like I'm not a fan of the projection one by any stretch, because especially when you get to the, I think we talked about this before on ParksCenter, when you get to the summer house at the end before you get to unload, and you look right here at the color difference, like that looks like a super bad makeup job. It kind of takes you out of it. So Shannon, you're on board with the fact that once they get this installed in Hong Kong, we're hoping that they've made 2, right?
They need to. I hate those. I hate Anna and Elsa at the end of the ride. I think the projections work for certain characters, i.e. the dwarves in Mine Train. Right. It's really dark in there. It works well. And you can get away with it even with Elsa when you're going backwards. But those 2 characters at the end, they got to go. It's just a circle with a screen, and I hate it.
Well, and on the blog we had this picture of this nightmare, which is something gone horribly wrong with Anna's face that looks like something out of a horror movie. So yeah, definitely a little bit scary there. I don't know. I think that Disney animatronics is one of the things that as a kid you're just in awe of, like animatronic versions of Brer Rabbit or of of the Seven Dwarfs, or even if they have the projections, or the Mickey Mouse review is something that I got to see as a little kid, and there was just all animatronic orchestra, and it was fantastic. So I really would love to see more actual animatronics. I know there was supposed to be some in Guardians, and this one, it's such an upgrade to me in the technology of what they had with Maelstrom, as opposed to a lot of still figures. But at the same time, the projection thing is a little creepy. Matt, you would agree with that?
Yeah, I was a big fan of Maelstrom myself. Loved it as a kid. But yeah, I think you're right. I think Disney, the one thing that sets Disney apart, especially from its competitors, where I think oftentimes Universal's still pretty far behind on it, is animatronics. And if Disney's advancing the animatronics, we saw it with Beauty and the Beast in Tokyo, and now here in Hong Kong with the Elsa attraction, or Elsa animatronic, we need that upgrade, because there's a lot of sins that still need to be that they try to cover up in Frozen, and it's not my favorite attraction. There's a lot of things wrong with it, and I think just having an upgraded animatronic in there would do wonders for that attraction for sure.
Yep. Allie, thoughts?
I agree with what everybody said. The projections are a little creepy at the end, and an animatronic is always a better option.
Yep, I agree. So let's go ahead and mark it down that we're going to get animatronics, and let's not just replace Elsa. Let's just replace all of them. Olaf is good as he is, and so is Sven, because they're both normal, except for the blinking eyes, I think. The trolls, you can leave them. I'm fine with that. But let's go ahead and get the Anna and Elsa characters swapped out, please, because that would be great. Thanks. So here's this nightmare thing that I wanted to talk about, and I called it Nightmare Fuel, and I think this is an incredible mistake. I love The Incredibles, but there was this Pixar cruise where they did you're already laughing because you know how bad it is. They did face characters of the Incredibles, and what
would it have been bad though if they were face characters from the beginning? I feel like it only looks bad because they don't have their heads on that we're
agree
used to.
I agree with you.
Fair.
But come on,
he's pretty bad.
I mean, what the actual heck? Let's come on. It looks like young John Lithgow with a with a wig.
Oh gosh.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we're not.
Come on.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's not. I don't know. I love The Incredibles as they are. I don't know who was like, you know what we need to do. We need to make them face characters. I don't disagree with you. You make a great point, Shannon, that maybe if they had been this from the beginning, I wouldn't have thought it was so weird. But I kind of never hesitated when I saw them in their original format to think, these look pretty good. And now these, I mean, tell me I'm wrong that they don't look really kind of creepy.
They do. Does anyone remember the day in the land when Elastigirl's face fell off? I feel like this is
I don't remember when. Yeah, you're a little choppy. I don't remember when it fell off, but again, I just need to show you this one more time. Just
it does
one.
look like Lithgow.
Right? It looks like a young John Lithgow with a bad wig on is what that looks like. But,
Yeah.
you know, no offense to this guy, because I'm sure when he's not made up to look like Mr. Incredible, he's probably fine. But it's one of those...
Google Elastic Grace when it fell off on the stage in Tomorrowland. Please do it. You'll cry.
Yeah. So in the chat, I'm just Mr. Incredible is the worst in that form. What is that? Frozone is okay to me, but Mr. Incredible, nope. Yikes. Yes. Agree. Thank you. Care Bear, please. No, please, God. No. So good. So we're all on the same page about that. But yeah, and I know probably people who are Universal fans thought we were actually going to talk about the show Nightmare Fuel. We won't, but I love that show. Anyway, so we're gonna take another quick break. When come back and talk a little bit about the Festival of the Arts and just talk about some of the favorite things that we've seen come out of that one. So please, again, we're running a little long, but hopefully you guys will stick with us, and we'll be right back after a quick commercial break. This is Disney Entertainment News Today. I'm Rob Whiteside, and here now are the top Disney entertainment stories.
For the latest in Disney entertainment news, watch Disney Entertainment News Today, hosted by Rob Whiteside. From movies and series news to stage shows, books, video games, and more. New episodes drop every Tuesday on WWNT.tv.
It's time to adjust that set and turn that dial to WDWNT TV, our new channel where some of your favorite programming from the WDW News Today YouTube channel is heading. If you want to continue to see Boxed In on Fridays, ParksCenter on Sundays, and as well our Thursday night comedy variety show WDW News Tonight, you'll have to catch them at their new home, WDWNT TV. It's easy to subscribe. Just put in the URL, WDWNT.tv, hit subscribe, and make sure you get those notifications. Again, is the only way you'll be able to continue to see these great shows as they are moving away from the WDW News Today channel permanently. We hope to see you over there at our new home, WDWNT TV. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming.
And welcome back to ParksCenter. Thank you guys so much again for being with us. If you haven't already, please click like, as it helps people to find the show. I want to remind everybody that we have a Last Chance to Splash shirt. You probably saw the story today about the sign being stolen from Splash Mountain that says, you're about to get wet. That was not me. Although I would have loved to have grabbed that piece of Disney history on my own, we're not going to break the law. You can actually have a piece of Disney, Splash for your Last Chance to Splash. We still have those shirts available on carouselproducts.com. They went very fast the first time, so we rushed another order of them. And if you order them now, you should be able to get them to have your last splash. So. Again, they've gone pretty fast, but I wanted to make sure everybody had an opportunity to get one, so we went back and reordered some. So, and this is it. So, anyway, I wanted to also say, David Lung said in chat, hey, you always run a little long. Like, why don't you make this show 2 hours? Well, we kind of do because we have a post show. So, we do that, but, just a reminder, News Tonight is 90 minutes, even though it clocks in at about 3 hours every week. So, our original intent is to make sure that you get all of the information and entertainment very quickly, and we move the show along fast. So, we appreciate you. We've already went from ParksCenter used to be 30 minutes and, to breaking it into 90 when we merged it to this. So, thank you for everybody who watches. Really appreciate it. But again, before we jump into the Festival of the Arts, my boy William K has stepped up to the plate. with a super chat for us, and it says, International Festival of the Arts is the best festival at EPCOT, making a trip to WDW specifically for this in a few weeks. Me too, my friend. Maybe we'll be there at the same time. I actually love this festival, and we've talked about that before. Like Disney... or at Epcot, they have a lot of great festivals. So we have Festival of Holidays just ended. We have Festival of the Arts now. We'll run into the Flower and Garden Festival and then Food and Wine. It's pretty much all year festival. A lot of people joke that it's like a year-round food court. But, to me, Festival of the Arts takes it to the next level because there's a lot of things other than the food that I'm interested in when I talk about Festival of the Arts, because the food is good, though. So, one of the things I think we need to have a discussion about with this is the food, and then make our way through and talk about some of the other stuff that they have. But I think, to me, I want to hear, like, if you guys have looked at the menus, you know what's going on there. So I want to get, from you guys, your standouts of what you think looks really good. But I want to start with the thing that I think, to me, is the thing I would definitely have to do, which is this Figment Inspiration Station at the Odyssey. I mean, not only does the food look amazing, but I feel like also the interior they've gone above and beyond with. So,
yes.
Here's the menu, and here's the food, and it's colorful, and it's very Instagrammable. Apparently, it has freeze-dried Skittles on top, whatever that is. I talked to my boy Jake today about that grape-flavored Figment drink, which initially I only wanted the glass, but now after he said it tasted great, I went in on that. This thing, it looks like a Pop-Tart, but they just call it a sugar cookie with icing. This cake looks incredible. Again, don't know what they mean by the freeze-dried. And then, of course, everybody's favorite, the Figment popcorn bucket can be located there as well. Everybody giving ooh.
So pretty.
Thank you. Thanks for playing along with that one. I appreciate it. So, I mean, Allie, you just left. You just missed Festival of the Arts, didn't you?
I did. I'm kicking myself that we didn't stay 2 more days. We went last year. This was by far our favorite festival that we've been to. The empanada, that was probably our favorite thing. It was really, really good. Actually, all the food we had last year was really good. And it looked like, other than the Italy booth, everything they ate was also really good this year. So it's a great festival, and kind of wondering if I can sneak a trip in.
You were just there. It's somebody else's turn. It might be Shannon's turn. Shannon, I know every now and then you have an oopsie, slid my credit card through and paid for another trip kind of a situation. Are you feeling that on this one?
It happens more often than my husband likes. So I was going to go, but unfortunately I did have to cancel this year. I went last year though, and there was some good food. It's definitely a little more outside the box than some of the other festivals, especially Food and Wine Festival, where you're going to get some major staples. But I've had the deconstructed key lime pie, the grilled cheese and tomato soup. The grilled cheese was just okay. The tomato soup was incredible. And for anyone who cares to know, if you have a dairy intolerance, you can just ask them to keep the cream off the top. The tomato soup itself is not cream-based, which is very exciting. But all in all, Festival of the Arts is incredible, and the food is pretty good.
Yep. Matt, do you have festival dreams?
Yes. So last year was my first time going to the Festival of the Arts. First time participating in a festival fully. I've been there during the festival holidays, but didn't really participate in the festival too much. But I'm glad that was my first festival because it's spectacular. The food is great. I love looking at all the fan artists that come out and share their work, and even some old animators, things like that, are also there, which I think is also spectacular. I actually love, one of my favorite things to do is looking on Instagram to look at new fan artists, and to see them actually at the festival this year is really great to see. And the food is also really great. As Shannon mentioned, last year I went and got the deconstructed key lime pie, also the grilled cheese and tomato soup. Unfortunately, I missed out on the Figment popcorn bucket last year, but I think it's just they pushed the envelope. I'm kind of a foodie, so it's cool to see interesting takes on certain dishes that we normally see in our daily lives, on our day-to-day, done in a very thoughtful and interesting way. So spectacular festival for sure when it comes to food.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, and the food is gorgeous. Like, that's the thing too, is
Yeah.
not only do you eat it, but you want to take many, many pictures of it. And here's the grilled cheese and tomato soup in question.
Yep.
And then also, I always need that container because it's just
Yeah.
too good. But yeah, they really have, and you can go check out all the reviews on our website, wdwnt.com. It's to me, the food is more memorable here than anywhere except for maybe the California Food and Wine Festival, because there was some weird stuff at the California Food and Wine Festival that I did with Allie, including that frozen guacamole bar and the peanut butter and jelly mac and cheese. And I thought, oh, it's peanut butter and jelly mac. Nope, mac and cheese and Pop Rocks. What? That's crazy. So, but again, the food, most of the food is usually good. Like, flower and garden food and wine, the food is usually good. Festival of holidays, I mean, the comfort food stuff they put together is great. But this one, there's just something special about the food in general, including all the rest of the stuff that they do. I mean, it's really well done. So it's so well done that we have yet another super chat from Rosita. Thank you so much. Says, I agree with William. Went to see Festival of the Arts. That's a weird shortening of it, isn't it? Last year, and picked up 2 lovely paintings. I would go again, not this year though, Hawaii this year. But the food at Festival of the Arts this year looks good. Still the queen. I honestly think she just dropped that in because William tied her here and she wanted to win, and that's fine. I am all about that for both of you. So thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate you, Rosita. Thank you so much. So when it comes to the rest of the festival, I think Matt talked about it, she talked about it, is you can actually go and buy art there. Go figure, Festival of the Arts, and you can buy art. I remember the first year I went, there were people actually creating art, like, camped out in front of Canada with like an easel and a paintbrush, and it's just like, what is even happening here? It was kind of amazing to see. And then you can go around to the art booths. Dave Perillo is my boy. Like, when it comes to the artwork, I love the stuff that he puts together. I have way too much. I have more Dave Perillo artwork than I have walls. And it's just, I need to start making cubicles in my house is what I need to do, so that I have other places to hang things. But, the first time I was like, wait, what? The artists come out here too? It's kind of neat to be able to go out and see the artists, and you peruse the art and see what they have, and you can buy some originals and some prints and talk with them. And it's just like, it's like a street festival at that point. And so you have the food booths that you have for all the rest of the festivals, and then you have this component of it where it's just something extra special. And again, you've been to it, Shannon, so did you buy any art while you were there? Because it's kind of hard to throw it on the plane and bring it back too.
No, I had it shipped home. But you know what really got me about Festival of the Arts was the nostalgia of Disney stores from the 90s. Does anyone remember when there would be a dedicated room that was like the Disney gallery? And my parents loved to buy Disney art, and we would always, when you'd go into the store, you'd have the Mountain of the Stuffed Animals, and then you had the Disney art room. So I feel like we've really been lacking that in years, and the Disney galleries, even at the parks, have really been minimized. So having this wide array of artists, I personally bought a piece from Tim Rogerson. I loved it because it was Figment painting his own face on a canvas, and he was wearing a beret, and I wore a beret when I was at Festival of the Arts. And the paint tubes in the painting had the EPCOT logo on it for like Festival of the Arts. So there were so many tie-ins. It was Figment. It was calling attention to the festival and EPCOT itself. It was just a really special memory for me. So yeah, I had that shipped home, and it sits above my paint desk in my basement.
That's awesome. Here's also a look at the booth that shows some of the art from Gideon's Bakehouse, which is very unique. So
that's cool.
Yeah, that would be a neat one to be able to see as well. Allie, you said you went last year. Did you come home with any art?
Yeah, we did. We came home with 2 of Dave Avanzino's pieces. I think I said his last name right. The Disneyland ticket booth one, and then he had an EPCOT piece. So that was fun to wrap that up and carry that on the plane and take that home. But yes, we left with art.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing to see like, you know, again, the way these booths are set up, and you just walk in and you look around, and you may turn around and the artist may actually be standing right behind you with that.
Yeah, he
which is,
signed our
again,
pieces for us. Yeah.
yeah, it's another a bit of it that you it's almost unexpected if you've never been to the Festival of the Arts. And this is fairly young. This is the youngest of all of the festivals that they have, and so short too. That's the other thing that kills me. And it's in winter. Like when we had kids and we couldn't go, it was just like, well, we can't just like, you know, run away in the winter when school's just started up and we've just had vacation because of Christmas and New Year's, and now we're going to ask to take off again at the beginning of the year to go to this thing. But yes, do that, because it's kind of amazing to be there, even if you can steal away just a weekend, like William was talking about doing. So the art is pretty amazing. Usually the merch I'm more blown away with. I wasn't really blown away with the merch on this one. I don't know. Like, again, I think Shannon, you and I have talked about the merch in the past, that you know, multiple lines. Obviously, everything is kind of themed for our boy Figment. So you have, you know, these coffee mugs that you can write on with chalk, I think are kind of cool. But I feel like, and again, Shannon, you tell me if I'm wrong, I feel like it's more limited this year than it was in the past. Am I off on that?
It seems like it. And where are the sporks? That was one spork I didn't get, and I was very upset about it. Yeah, in general, I remember not being super impressed with the merch last year, but I'm okay with that because I go there to look and buy the art. And I also just think they've stepped up their game in general with ways to celebrate the festival, including that Odyssey Pavilion overlay. So it's all right.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, I need them to every now and then put out minimal merch so that I don't feel compelled to buy it. I swear I had zero plans to buy anything day one of EPCOT 40th, and that did not go as planned. I assume, even though the 100 Years of Wonder, most of that stuff doesn't appeal to me, I'm sure that in the thick of it, I'll be like, let me just in case, let me just grab all these pins and everything else that's here. You know, Matt, you said you went last year too. You looked at the merch. Is there anything that stands out to you for the merch?
I will confess I have a Figment Munchling en route to me. I bought that through Shop Disney. I'm a huge Figment fan. I adore Figment. I have a golden. I bought the golden statue last year when it was. I made it available.
Matt, this is not Figment. This is not. What the heck? Come on, man.
That's not Figment. I have like a small shrine to Figment. I'm a sucker. I think it's fun. I think it's one of the few actually like park specific Munchlings we've gotten so far, so I had to snatch it. It's my only Munchling. I will throw that out there.
Sure, that's what they say at first. It's my only one, and then we're going to turn around and he's going to have a problem.
Yeah. Well, as a Figment fan, I thought I had to have it. But one thing I want to say is, where is Dreamfinder? Because they had such a push this year with bringing back all the old attraction callbacks in that pavilion. But where is my boy Dreamfinder? He is my number one Parks character. I absolutely love him. It's so sad that we only got 15 years with him. I hope with this new renaissance of Journey to Imagination we're seeing over the past couple of years and going forward, we'll see our boy Dreamfinder back. But yeah, where is he?
Well, believe it or not, Matt, Tim Rogerson, the artist who is down there, he's a Disney artist. He told me how his father was like the original Dreamfinder, and that's what made buying the Figment art that much more special for me. He was so passionate.
That's amazing.
About it. Yeah,
that's amazing.
You know, it's weird. All the vendors say that. No, I'm just kidding. No, that is true. And also really quick, we had another super chat, $10 from Theme Parks and Things with Johnny. This is for Rob. Rob will become CEO of Disney before Tron opens. The opening date is just a teaser. It's not really opening. JK, guys, JK. Please let that not be the case, because I need that thing to freaking open again, because I need to buy all the merch and have it immediately. I actually have a mug from the one in Shanghai because I have a problem. But back to what you were talking about Figment and Dreamfinder is, I think that's one of the most special things to me that they did for this version of the festival, is that to do this inspiration station that they put in at the Odyssey. So they've got all of these, the rainbows on the outside and the decorations, and then on the inside they've got the tables that they had in the because I worked in the original ImageWorks, and they had these huge tables, and they had the pins on the bottom, and you run your hands on it or put your hand up in it, and they just some genius goes, you know what, they're just sitting upstairs or in the archive, let's just bring them out and let people see them again, and they put them in the Odyssey, and everybody's reliving their childhood through these these pin tables that were what kind of a big deal is that? The only thing is that that I saw a picture that on Twitter that somebody was using it as an actual table, which if you don't know the history, the blasphemy of you doing that, it just, you don't understand how wrong that is to be able to do. But the fact that they've also used projections from the original attraction, and they used an actual figment from the original attraction, says that they are starting more than ever to get how special this attraction, this character is, and that they should bring him back and do more with him. And I know, Allie, being out in California, I've actually been stopped by people when we have Figment shirts on going, man, I wish Disneyland had its own character, because you've got Orange Bird and Figment are both East Coast. So, I mean, Figment's awesome.
Figment's amazing. Yeah, I love all of his merch. Anything they put him on, I want to buy it.
Would that also include a Munchling?
Sure. No, that Munchling, I'm sorry, looks a little strange to me.
That's fine.
Come on.
Like Figment. It doesn't look like Figment.
There was a lot of cool stuff that they did. They're doing the hide and seek thing, the hunt. They're still doing that. They do that for every festival. But the one thing too that they've done for every festival is this new Beacon show, and they could have done the same thing they did last year, and I would have been happy with it. The Beacon show from last year was Rainbow Connection on Spaceship Earth, doing this whole show, and they said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to do something specific for Figment. Again, just leaning into Figment more than they ever have, and it's kind of amazing to see. Now, I'm going down, so I haven't watched it, but I know that it has one little spark, and I've seen some of the stills from it. Matt, you're a huge Figment fan. Have you watched our video of the Beacon show?
I have, and not only does it have Figment, but it has Dreamfinder. Dreamfinder's voice is in that show where he should be. I have a very strong opinion about this. As Figment and Dreamfinder are one and the same. They need to be together, because I'm big fan of the comics, big fan of the original attraction. Figment is a figment of Dreamfinder's imagination. It's a manifestation of that. And I would say, kind of on the same vein, you would not have the emotions from the Inside Out movie without Riley. So for me, we need Dreamfinder. So again, I think this is just a great nod that we might see Dreamfinder resurrect himself back in EPCOT, because he deserves to be in EPCOT. I think he's the personification of what Walt dreamed of and who Walt was, being that dreamer and finding those dreams and bringing them to reality. So I couldn't be happier about seeing that. I was a huge fan of the Rainbow Connection last year. I'm a huge Muppet fan as well, so I was happy to see that last year when I was there. But just to hear his voice back in EPCOT was just, I brought a tear to my eye. I'm so happy about this Beacons of Magic show. So
I love that, and I'm excited for you. Except then you say something like Dreamfinder should resurrect himself, and I get distracted. I'm like, I'm picturing some dark Pet Cemetery situation happening. So I agree with you, though. I think that's a good point, that Dreamfinder should be a part of it. And when they do this meet and greet with Figment that we've seen coming, that they announced at D23, we hope it's that Living Initiative character and not that mega Figment, Figmentzilla. We want to see something that's an actual animatronic in the same way we saw Baby Groot. See Figment come to life. I think that is going to just, all of us who are fanboys are just going to just lose it with that, I'm sure. But especially, again, looking at the care that they took in putting this imagination, this inspiration station together, and just, he's just all over the place. But to your point, like, shouldn't there be a little bit more of Dreamfinder in here? You've got murals, you've got projections, and you've got popcorn buckets. Look at that. Is this taunting you, Matt? Look how far. Look how many.
It very much is.
I'm
hoping. I'm hoping it floods the popcorn bucket economy, and it makes it a little bit cheaper on eBay to buy them. So,
well, we talked about this last week on the show.
Or if someone on staff wants to get me one, I'll pay you back. So, putting that out
we
there.
talked about this last week on the show that it's just a difference of a different strap for the anniversary, but still doesn't mean
the strap. I just want the popcorn bucket.
Doesn't mean I still wouldn't want another one. So I get it. But apparently they've learned their lesson from the 7-hour waits last year. They went in and said mobile order the way we did with Mr. Toad. That seemed to work out. And so, now they've got some organization to this, and it seems like it worked. Now the first day they ran out of mobile order spots. That doesn't mean they sold out of the popcorn bucket. But hopefully they've found a way to make sure that everyone who comes and wants one gets one. If you get one, Shannon, are you going to put it on that shelf right there behind you, right next to Toad, or are you not interested?
No, the Toad was a one-time thing. I'm not a popcorn bucket gal, but Mr. Toad holds a special place in my heart, being my favorite ride as a kid, so I couldn't pass up on him.
Okay, and I got to ask you, Allie, Dragon to Dragon, would you rather have Elliot, or would you from the Main Street Electrical Parade popcorn bucket, or would you have this Figment popcorn bucket?
I do actually have Elliot. I do not have Figment. When I went last year, when I actually saw the Figment, he's super cute, but he's huge. And I just don't really have anywhere to put him. So he's super adorable, but he's very, very large.
Gotcha.
So I have Elliot. I do not have Figment.
Yeah, I think though you were flexing a little bit last year when it was the Elliot versus the Figment, because the Elliot you could actually still buy. It lit up.
And it lights up, so there's that.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, Figment. You got to have the Figment one. So again, shout out to Matt, who hooked me up last year when I thought I was all but lost in not getting one, and I treasure it. It is amazing to have that popcorn bucket. It seems ridiculous, I know, but we're some ridiculous people when it comes right down to it, aren't we? So final thoughts on the festival as we wrap up here. Just overall thoughts on, it could be when you went last year, what you've seen this year. Is this the best one, Shannon? I feel like it is, right?
Absolutely, 100% best festival. Hoping maybe in coming years they'll make it a little bit longer. I personally like having it in the winter because it gets you excited and out of those blues for those of us who live in cold weather states. It gives you some hope for warmer weather. So love the festival. I encourage everyone to go if they can.
Yeah, big sigh from Allie when you said cold weather. What are your thoughts?
I hate cold weather. That's why I moved. Festival of the Arts is by far the best festival. I really didn't have any expectations going last year, and it was phenomenal. And based on the coverage I've seen come in, it looks like it's just as good this year. So if you haven't been, try to make a trip of it. At least it's kind of affordable to go this time of year to Florida because it's off season. So I'm still trying to maybe find a way to sneak a trip in there. But yeah, for sure, go if you have not been.
And free resort parking, so you might as well.
And free resort parking, there you go.
Yes, definitely best festival Disney has. Definitely, if you can make it out there, support the artists there. They do great work and do important work, bringing some of our dreams to life and characters to life. But yeah, happy to see Figment and Journey to Imagination, the original attraction, getting some love. And 2025 will be the rise of Dreamfinder.
The Rise of Dreamfinder. That doesn't sound creepy at all. And by the way, again, just so you know, if you guys were wondering what we're talking about with these tables, so this is the table, and you go and you can go underneath, put your hand up there. You can see your hand imprint. Trust me, in the late '80s, this was the best entertainment that money could buy. So it was glad to see them bring it back. It's very cool. Thank you guys for being on the panel tonight. We really appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. Love that you guys join us every Sunday night. We will be back next Sunday night with another ParksCenter. And then the week after that, we are taking a time out because we'll be celebrating the 100 Years of Wonder out in California. So be with us next week. We will love to be with you. And also a big shout out to our WIGS members. We love our WIGS members. Thank you guys so much for being part of the WDWNT Interglobe Society. If you want to find out more about that, hit up patreon.com/WDWNT. You get such great things as a post show. We will have one right after this. We'll try to keep it brief because I know everybody has to get to bed, and I mean Shannon. So thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you, and we will see you next time. Have a great week, guys.
Bye.
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Bum, 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 bum.